Well, hello everyone. This is Paul Girton, and I'm here with Robin Glasser, the director of the brand new Norfolk Public Library. And what a surprise and great thing this is, Robin.
Well, we've been working on this for a very long time, as most of you know, and we're pleased to say that we're just at the end of the construction period. We're cleaning up some last-minute details, and we hope we'll be open in about 2 weeks, Paul.
2 weeks? Well, we're standing right where the old entrance to, this was which part of the library, Robin?
This was, if you remember, this was the old reference room and the magazines, and also my office was right here by these 3 windows.
Okay, well you can see that it's changed quite a little bit.
It has, it has. We have this whole new area out here with the front entrance. The new front entrance, and as you can see, we've got the crypt over there. For you longtime library users, we used to have a parking space right in front of that crypt door. It has now been landscaped and incorporated into the library, and we couldn't be happier with the way that it has turned out. It just really enhances the property, and people can see the crypt and remember the way it was used in years past, and it's just a wonderful feature of our new library.
It really has integrated itself really well into the landscaping of the whole library.
It has. It looks like it has been there forever and that it was meant to be in just that spot, and as it has been.
Let me ask you a quick question about the parking.
Sure.
Now, I know one of the issues when we started building the library was, of course, the parking.
Yes.
Now, Chris, I don't know if you can kind of take a slow pan all the way around to see the parking, but it looks to me like there's quite a few spaces.
There is ample space. We have solved that problem. As you can see, we have 3 handicapped accessible spaces in the front of the library. We have the circle where parents can drop off their children, and then the parking wraps all around the building. To the far side where there's an exit only on the other side of the building. And we also have 7 on-street parking places that can serve the library, as well as people that need to use the bottom floor of Town Hall. It makes it very convenient to enter.
As we can see, and I know we're driving our camera person, Chris Gleason, crazy here by asking him to look here and there, but we're just a stone's throw from Town Hall. And it looks like it really belongs together.
It does. I think we're finally beginning to put a municipal center together. We're so pleased that we were able to keep the library in this location and add on to it to make a viable town center. And with Town Hall next door, it just makes for a great convenience. Also with the Recreation Department on the ground floor, we have a lot of folks that go back and forth between Recreation Department programs and the library, so I think it's very convenient for everyone.
Well, I think we've been outside long enough.
We have.
I think people at home are dying to get inside, so why don't we take a look inside and give everybody a real good look.
Okay, let's go.
Well, here we are, Robin, inside the, can you just stand over this way so you're not right in front of that window?
Sure.
Here we are inside of the old reference room.
Yes, you're exactly right. This was the old reference room, and I imagine what you're seeing now comes as quite a shock from the way it used to look. Right over here where the windows are, we used to have our magazines. The rest of the room was reference and our computer areas. It is now our fiction room. We have adult fiction, mystery, and science fiction in here. And you have to understand that we aren't completely furnished yet, but we will have lounge seating and a table in here for people to use, as well as an online catalog where they can look up the books.
My recollection was that when we came down those stairs, right there, there was a couple of booths here and a whole bunch of computers. This is the room where all of that was.
Absolutely.
And now they've redesigned the ceiling and they've made the beams in here look very modernistic.
They have. They're the same beams. All they did was box them out and paint them. Basically, all this room has had is new lights, boxed out the beams, and new paint. Otherwise, it's the same dimensions that it used to be. One feature of the room is over here in the corner. We've incorporated a quiet study room. Patrons used to complain that our library was much too noisy and it was difficult for them to study. So here we have a study room. This is the largest of the 4 that we have. It will seat 4 to 6 people. So an individual can use it, or a small group that need to study together with so many of the high school team projects that we have going. It's a perfect place for students to come in.
It's got a great big window, makes it very nice and bright.
Very beautiful. You have a view of Town Hill and the Federated Church, and it's in my opinion, the nicest of our study rooms.
Yeah, very nice in here. And I see right out here in this corner, if we can get Chris to come out here, there's a little couch and another place to sort of, there's a nice little couch.
Yes.
And a place for people to sit and relax.
Actually, this couch was just delivered this morning.
Oh, really?
And we have a couple of other not couches, chairs and a coffee table that will be placed down here for a nice informal seating area. Okay. And the other window over on the other side will have tables and chairs.
Now, aside from the old schoolhouse that we're going to look at in a little while, is this the only part of the library that is part of the old library?
No. We're going to go up the ramp and we'll see the rest of the old library that people might recognize.
Right. Why don't we do that? Let's go up the ramp now and we'll begin to get an idea of what the brand new library looks like and what some of the old library has been made to look like.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go on up the ramp. Robin, now we're going to leave this part of the old library and we're going to head on up to the library that's brand new.
Brand new.
Take a little bit of a look at some of the older part of the library.
Hi. We're standing right at the edge of the new library. Behind us we have the old construction that was built in 1985, and out in front of us we have the new 2005 construction that's just been completed. To orient some people, if you can see up the ramp, we have the old schoolhouse, the Gene D. Hill meeting room, and straight in front of us, we used to have our picture book collection. That will become a magazine and reading room, and out here we have our large print books, our new fiction, our new nonfiction, and all of the other great resources.
Why don't we take a walk down here? And I love this circular skylight that's been installed, and it throws a tremendous amount of light in the library and opens it right up.
It does. The architects had a dilemma that we had such a large interior space that they didn't want us to feel that we had no daylight. So their method of bringing daylight in was to do this clear story, which is just absolutely wonderful. It does the function of bringing the light in. When we have our furniture placed, we're going to have 4 chairs and a coffee table, and it's just going to be a wonderful place for people to sit and relax and browse through our new books.
Okay. We did forget to go into the cataloging room, and I think we ought to do that just for a second.
Sure.
And point that out. So we'll turn right around a bit again and go back in.
We have Mary Ann and Anne hard at work processing all of our new books, and when we open, we'll have them all out on the shelf, new materials for everyone, children's books, adult books, videos and DVDs and new audio books. But this is where it all happens. When the new materials arrive in the library, they come here to this room to be cataloged before they go out to the shelves.
And in the old library, how big was the room that you used to do this, or did you even have a room to do this?
We didn't have a room. Mary Ann was given about a 6-foot cubicle to work from.
Right, so now you feel like you're in a palace.
Yes.
Well, good luck. Thank you for letting us come in. All right, let's walk on down a little bit further and see what we can find. Well, we're just entering in just even a little bit further. We're still right next to, I call it a skylight.
The skylight.
Was probably a mistake. Is it really called a skylight?
It could be a skylight,
Okay.
sure.
Well, it certainly throws a lot of light. So, and to my right is the Associate Director's office, and that would be?
Heather Pisani-Crystal is our Associate Director, and she's right here next to the circulation desk because she is the circulation supervisor. So she has a good vantage point to see the ebb and flow and know when there are people out here that need help.
Well, we're not quite finished yet and open
Not
for the
quite.
public, so unfortunately there are a few things on the desk, but I think people can get an idea of how much space there is, and the circulation desk here has got lots and lots of room for people to bring their books in and talk to folks.
Yes, we will have 3 stations for staff members to check books out for the public, and our new product that we're going to roll out in November is a self-check station for those patrons that are in a real hurry and want to check out their own materials. They'll be able to do so.
All right, that's terrific. Now, all of this space right here, Robin, as you can see, there's part of the schoolhouse that we can still see. A few minutes ago, we could see the other side of it. Now, is the schoolhouse all finished, and if not, what's the story? I know they had to put in a brand new foundation for it.
Yes, we've done a new foundation, and we've completed the exterior that is inside the new library. We have new windows, the heating and ventilation system is installed, but the interior restoration is not yet complete. As you may recall, we are using community preservation funding that was allocated at last spring's town meeting, and that's going to be a separate contract. So we're waiting for our general contractor to finish up, and within the next few months, we hope that we'll have a bid out to restore that to a circa 1845 schoolhouse. It will also function as our Norfolk history room, where we'll keep our historical books, and as a small conference room. So that's another space that people can use when a group needs to get together.
Now, you folks at home might realize that where we're standing right now used to be outdoors,
Yes,
because you would have walked into that building pretty much along a path right along
yes,
here.
yes.
And so you can see how much, there was a lot of criticism, as you know, about the library and the size of the library, and some people said, well, it's a big Army base. But I think when people actually get in here and see what's in here, they're going to say that the utilization of this space is fabulous.
It is, and we have bookshelves that have plenty of books on them. I think the greatest fear is to build a new building and not have any books. And as we've been unpacking, we kept wondering how we ever squeezed all of this into the old building. Sure. We have room to grow, but it's not as if this is an empty warehouse. Right. It's pleasantly full, and I think people will be able to find their way through the library and have better access to the materials. We also sized the building for Norfolk's 20-year growth, which also brings Norfolk to its maximum building potential. So the library shouldn't have to talk about expansion for many, many, many years.
Well, we're going to try and talk, not talk about anything political
yes,
about
that's
the library
right, yes.
today. We just want to show off the
yes,
library.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you're absolutely right. This is a built-out library for the next 20 years, and in the long run, hopefully this is the cheapest way to do it.
Do it, yes. So we won't have to be going back to the town in the next 5 or 10 years looking for more space.
Where do you want to take us now?
I think we should walk around the circulation desk, and I'll just point out a few things, and then we can go into the children's area.
All right. Here, we're walking by the circulation desk, and all of these books over here are...
We've got, on the short shelves, we have our new fiction books, and the taller shelves to the rear is our reference collection. It's out in the center of the room where people can have easy access. This smaller desk over here is our reference and information desk.
That desk right over there, Chris, is, and the room behind it
The
is...
room behind it is our, the offices for our reference librarian and for our children's librarian. As you can see, they have windows, and they'll be able to tell when people are out here at the desk needing help. Mrs. Bloom will be sitting on the at the curved part of the desk where she can help the young children, and that's why we have this red carpet.
I was just going to ask you that. I was going to say, what's the significance of this red carpet and the fact that is that another skylight?
It is another skylight.
It has a nice big red painting inside of it. What's the significance of all this red?
Well, inside, past the red wall, we have our preschool room, which we are calling Destination Imagination.
Okay.
And we needed a cue to let the preschoolers and their parents find Mrs. Bloom, their best reference for children's
follow the red
books.
brick road.
So they're going to follow the Red River path
I get it.
to Mrs. Bloom's desk.
Okay, is it anything like the Wizard of Oz?
It is, absolutely. She'll magically get them, connect them with the book that they need. Before we get into the children's room, right in front of us we have our audio-visual collection. We're looking at the adult videos, books on tape, and the DVD collection. And behind us is the same, it's our children's video and audio collection. So,
now I notice there's a big room way over in the corner there. Is that anything we want to see today?
yes, absolutely.
All right, let's take
You
a
want to
look.
go there
Sure.
first?
This
Okay.
is a very big room in there, and we just came in from the Red River Road.
Right.
And to this big room. And what is this room?
This is our young adult room. This is for Norfolk's teenagers. I am sad to say that in the old library, all they had were about 6 shelves worth of books. We had no area where they could come in and use the materials that are interesting to teenagers and young adults. So we're surrounded by bookshelves for them. And in this big empty area, we will soon have computer tables and study tables. That furniture hasn't yet been delivered. But we anticipate that it will be here within a couple of weeks.
Okay, well, that's terrific.
On our right over here is our juvenile book collection, both fiction and nonfiction for children in grades 2 through 6, more or less. And at the far end of the room, we'll have study tables and, again, some comfortable seating in front of the windows and a beautiful view of our new landscaping. It's quite an improvement over the area that we allocated to children in the old building.
Sure. At this point in the development of the new library, I can see that the architecture and the building is done, and most of the books are in.
Yes.
So you're just waiting now a little bit on some furniture.
We're waiting on some furniture and the final punch list that the architect and the general contractor have to do. There are a few issues, nothing major, but some loose ends to tie up before we can receive our occupancy permit.
Okay, well, I love the color schemes in here. There's an awful lot of red that brightens everything up, but let's get back on the river.
Let's go to the river.
And go into the kids' room.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, there's no question that this isn't Kansas, but it's Norfolk, but this road is just terrific.
It is a terrific road leading to a terrific room. It's not the yellow brick road, but it's our red brick road.
Red brick road, Red River.
Red River
I want to
Road,
say brick,
yes.
but it's the Red
Yes.
River. So we don't
Yeah.
want to overtake Chris here because she's going to be able to go all the way back there and show this whole room. But this room is very, very big. Again, it has a nice round centerpiece. What is this room?
This is our room for our preschoolers and early childhood. It will have books just for Norfolk's youngest people, up to grades 1 or 2 and starting at birth. It's a big empty room now. The shelving was back ordered and hasn't been delivered or installed yet, but it's due in any day now. So it will be filled with books and puppets and games and great things
Will
for
you
the
have
children.
entertainment for kids and that sort of thing in here? Where sometimes there are puppet shows and there are storytellers and that type of thing.
Well,
will you be able to use this room for that?
We can use this room, but a better room to use is right next door.
Oh, wow.
So let me take you through these big double doors.
Okay.
This is our story hour room, which
Okay.
we never had before.
Wow, look at this.
We have this wonderful space where Mrs. Bloom will hold probably 7 or 8 different sessions of story hour each week. We just received this rug last week for the children to sit on, and we're waiting for our craft tables to be delivered. So after they have their story, some of the children have crafts that they make. We've got a sink. We have cupboards where Mrs. Bloom can keep all of her supplies. and not disturb the rest of the library.
You know, you have to really wish you were a kid, because kids get all the really nice colors. They get all the bright colors. You come into a room like this and everything is alive.
It is.
You know, when you're an adult, everything seems kind of drab to me.
It is. It is.
Being a kid is
But
great.
we need to keep the children engaged and show them that a library is a friendly place and a place where they feel comfortable and want to keep coming back to as they grow through school age and high school and come back to as adults.
I just want to mention one other thing. Now, Mrs. Serena
Yes,
Bloom.
Serena Bloom.
Now, she is, what's her title?
Children's librarian.
Children's librarian. So she's the person that folks will want to talk to about anything to do with the children.
Yes.
And as long as we're talking about people who have parts to play, you yourself, Robin Glasser, are the director of the library.
That's correct.
And who else do we need to mention?
Well, we talked about Heather Pisani-Crystal, who's the associate director. We haven't talked about John Spinney, who wears many hats.
Yeah, well, I've seen John in some of his hats, and that's
Yes.
why we don't talk about him.
Yeah. He is our reference librarian and our information systems coordinator. He is responsible for keeping all of our computers up and running, and we have several different networks within the building. So I don't know where we'd be without him.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
He's done a great job, and for the transition into the new building, he's put his carpenter's hat on, and he's been putting up shelving for us and moving
In fact,
more
I think
shelves.
we did get a picture of him a minute ago, pushing a cart right through the picture, John.
Yep, yep.
Now, there's one of the things in the library that people have talked about since the inception of the whole idea, and that is the big meeting room.
Yes.
And I think we need to go over and take a look at that big meeting room, because people think that all kinds of things about it.
Yes.
So why don't we take a walk
We'll-
over there now?
We'll take a walk, but on the way, I want to show you one other
All
special
right.
room that we
Very
have.
good. Let's do that. Well, this room is fabulous. It's got drinks and it's got snacks and
Absolutely. We are trying to overcome two difficulties that we had in the old building. We need a place in the morning when the children are in story hour for the moms to get to know each other and network. They're a very social group, and they need to meet each other and make play dates and that sort of thing. So we have this room that's adjacent to the preschool room that the moms can come in the morning. They will have coffee, we've got snacks, we've got Cheerios for the young children. We're trying to keep it a little bit healthy. In the afternoon, the teenagers come in and they're hungry. They've just gotten off the bus from school. They're starving. They're not quite ready to settle down and do their studying, and they need to be able to make a little bit of noise. So we're going to direct them in here where they can eat and drink. They can network, again, with their friends. They can have a chat, and then when they're ready, they can go into the main library and study.
well, this is going to be a very big improvement. I know a lot of people at home have used the old library, but I know it got to the point where when we first came in this morning, that room, where the computers used to be, was a very noisy room.
It
and
was.
It was an impossible place to study. And it had a lot to
Right.
do with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that is that the kids were a little bit restless
Listen.
and this and that. And this will give them a place to...
Yes, and these empty bookshelves over here are going to be filled with the Friends of the Library perpetual book sale.
Okay.
They'll
Good
have
idea.
paperbacks out here and an honor system where people can drop their money right into the box, and they don't have to wait for our annual book sale anymore. Also, I'd like to point out that the commission on these snack machines and the soda and drinks benefits the Friends of the Library. Also, this room is adjacent to our front entrance and can be used at night by a small group. If we have a larger group booked in the main meeting room and a small, say a board of 10 to 12
I see.
people needs to
Sure.
meet, they are free to book this room in the evening.
great use
So
of space.
this is our very flexible room.
Yeah.
It's going to be many things during the day, throughout the day.
What I like about this is that the west end of the new library is all for the kids, as far as I can see. We've got that room in there that we were just
Yes.
in with the red floor, and that's where the kids will
That's where their books will be housed and their games and
And the one
puppets.
right next to it is, it's got all the blue
Story
squares
hour.
and things on it, the story hour room.
Story hour room.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a decision that was made early on by the library trustees and the building committee and the staff. Norfolk is unusual in that our children's circulation exceeds 50% of our total library circulation, which means that the children are our biggest customers. And the nice spaces are so much more important to children. So we made the decision to give the children the new space and retrofit the existing library for the adult stacks,
Well, it makes
book
perfect
stacks.
sense.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense to do that. I mean, and not only that, but it gives the kids a sense of ownership,
Absolutely.
which they
yes.
may not have had in the old if they felt they were in the way.
Right, exactly.
So this is great. Well, I think the next place then is the big meeting room.
Yes, we just have to go down this hallway and into the meeting room.
Okay, let's do that. Well, here we are in the meeting room. But what we have here is a great big room that will seat how many people?
About 125 people
And
is
that
the capacity.
That makes it the largest room in the town, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Probably with the exception of the new King Philip Junior High auditorium.
right.
But as far as meeting space between the public library, town hall, and the schools, this will be the largest meeting space.
Now, there have been many times, I know just in the past year, where the selectmen's room has not been big enough to accommodate all the people who've come to a meeting there. And I know that maybe it's possible for those kinds of meetings or a type of meeting where you expect a lot of people to have it here. It's cable ready.
It is cable ready.
We'll be able to provide live coverage for things that are here in this room.
And we welcome town boards and commissions that need larger meeting space. We welcome any nonprofit or community group that needs meeting space. We've already had many phone calls for people that are booking through the springtime, actually. People are eager to use the room.
What I'd like Chris to do, if she could for just a second, is if it's possible, Chris, can you get some sense of the ceiling? This is a very big room with a very, very big, beautiful ceiling with great big rafters. And it gives the whole feel of the room, you know, that it's open, that it's big.
And I love the windows that the architects designed. If you're standing at the front of the room, you can look out over the town hill and you can see the gazebo and the tramp house, and it's just a lovely feeling and a beautiful view. One thing I'd like to mention that is new news for Norfolk.
Okay.
Last Monday night, I spoke with the Norfolk Cultural Council about housing art displays in this room.
Oh, good idea.
That's something the library has always done. In the old building, we did it, but we didn't have great art space for people to hang their exhibitions. But now we have the picture rail that has been mounted on the walls, and it makes for very flexible displays. It will accommodate many different size paintings and various exhibits. So the Cultural Council was very pleased to be able to manage our exhibitors for us. They will go out and look for exhibits.
Now, I know Stony Brook has done this in the past, and they've asked folks if they want to display their artwork there, they can do it. To be able to do it at Town Hall in a room like this is fabulous. Will you charge them money to do this?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That is the public library's mission, is to bring culture and artistic events into town. We don't charge for any of our programs, and certainly will not charge exhibitors for the use of space.
So if somebody, say, wanted to do, say, a weekend art exhibit where they sell their art, and there was a buffet and that sort of thing, would they be welcome to be able to use the hall this way?
If they are town residents or from the local area. I mean, we're not in the business of commercial art,
Right.
But certainly we want to showcase local artists from the surrounding towns, from Norfolk, and we know that when people see the artist's work, they often like to purchase it, so we've asked the artists to discreetly price the paintings, and the people that see the paintings can then contact the artist directly about purchasing.
That's really terrific. Now, here's the big question. Here it is.
Yes, Paul.
Almost the 1st of November.
Yes.
When is the big day?
We are hoping for November 7th.
Okay.
It looks like the contractor should be finished with his punch list, and all of the items that we need to take care of the code issues will be complete during next week. So he feels that November 7th is a safe date for us.
Now, today, I'm going to tell everybody what the date is today so that when you're watching this show, you'll have an idea of how much time is between now and opening day. It's only a few days, really. Today's the 27th?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're talking about 10 days.
10 days.
And this show probably won't get on the air until the 31st of the 1st, so it'll be about a week. But when you do open, is there going to be balloons and ribbon cuttings and everything?
The first day that we open, we just want people to come in and be able to walk around and enjoy and check out their books. The big ribbon cutting ceremony is set for Sunday, November 20th.
Okay.
We will advertise that date, but that's when we will have a gathering, an official ribbon cutting, and the official opening of the doors.
All right, that's excuse me,
November 20th. November
Okay.
20th, Sunday afternoon.
Keep that date clear on your calendars, folks, because you don't want to miss it. Being able to, everything will be ready, all the furniture will be put in place, and I think people will be really, really happy. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about the library, or anyone that you want to thank or mention?
Well, there are so many people to thank. I am going to leave that up to the trustees when we have our ribbon cutting ceremony. We have had a tremendous support from volunteers during these past 3 or 4 weeks while we've been re-tagging all of our books in the collection. Since the library's been closed, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to get a lot of our housework done, and we've been relabeling and recoding, and we're trying to make the collection as new and fresh-looking as possible to go along with our new building. So many, many people have given lots of hours, and I do thank them. Under the leadership of Mary Jo Gothorpe, our Friends of the Library president and coordinator of the volunteer effort.
Well, I want to congratulate you and everyone associated with the Norfolk Public Library and the Friends of the Norfolk Public Library, who I'm sure have donated all kinds of time and money.
Time and money, exactly. Yes.
And I want to thank Chris Gleason, who's working very hard trying to keep up with us as we go through the library and doing a great job. And folks, come on down to the library. You are going to be amazed. You're going to love it. And every nickel that was spent, most of which was a grant money.
Grant, yes.
So that's a good thing. So come on down.
Come on down. I'm sure you'll be amazed and you'll enjoy it.
All right,
we're here to serve the public, and we can't wait to open the doors.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking us on the tour.
Thank you.
And folks, come on down, as we say, and we'll see you next time.